Halfway through her first football focus, it's my old teammate Fara Williams, but let's remind ourselves of her stellar career.
It's incredible to think that she was actually homeless for some of those years that she was playing international football.
20 years old, appears to have a big future in the game.
Well done, Fara Williams.
Brilliant strike from Fara Williams.
Fara Williams, one of England's first.
Fara Williams with the through ball, spotted it so early.
Fara Williams, she scored!
I can't help but stand here and smile. I feel like I'm so proud of you watching that back. But it has, you mentioned in that about being homeless. From the start of your career, Fara, even to the end, it was never smooth.
Yeah, it was a difficult career in terms of some stuff off the pitch. But I always had football, and I think that was the most important thing. That was my drive, that even through difficult moments early on in my career and obviously through my career towards the end with injuries, I think the love for football always kept me motivated.
And then actually going back through that, I have someone ask me yesterday the question, because of the development of the women's game, the WSL and how it has become professional, do you wish you would have started your career now?
You know what? I've been asked the same question before, and the answer to that is no, and just purely because of the key values that I learned about not only being a footballer, but life, in terms of what they taught me and some of the older generation of players and what I learned from them back in the day, and hard work was key to probably where it got me, because I just thought talent would be enough. Yeah. And probably if I come through now with only talent, probably the hard work that is required, I probably wouldn't have understood. So I learnt a lot, you know, coming through when I did. But yeah, certainly I'd like to have showcased some of my skill on Sky and BBC, of course, but it's not to be, and hopefully I can give back to the game on the other side now.
So you said about some of those points, when you think, going back to that 13-year-old Fara Williams, what advice would you have given her knowing the career that you've had now?
I always, you know, when I was 13, all I thought is that I love football, and all I wanted to do was play football, no matter where it was, whether it be in the park, school, you know, at dinner, I wanted to rush my dinner down so that I could get out. So I would just say, like, I love the game, and I think that if you love something, then that's all you need, and that's all I needed to keep me motivated and keep wanting to do it. So I just think don't get distracted by what can be in terms of the money now that's in the game. I think you've got to love what you're doing, you've got to work hard for it.
Always good words. Well, actually, right now, let's turn our attention to one of your old teams where you started back in the day. Yes, Chelsea. The defending champions didn't get off to the start they would have hoped for, losing to London rivals Arsenal last weekend. Emma Sanders has been talking to Fran Kirby.
Well, let me keep it.
An emphatic final day victory for the Blues. Worthy winners. They are champions of England.
Oh, but these harmonies, like we're speaking to genius. Like, oh, please.
Last season was pretty special, wasn't it? Winning the title, scoring 16 goals, Barclays FA WSL Player of the Season. How do you go and top that?
It was a great year last year. I think you could see from the beginning how hungry we were to win everything, and then obviously for me individually it was great as well. So it's going to be tough. You know, for us we want to keep pushing and keep building something special, which we were doing last year.
Your partnership with teammate Sam Kerr, it was almost telepathic, the understanding between you both.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I just kind of knew that if I was running down the side, Sam was going to be in the box, you know, so I just kind of put the ball into space and she'd do the rest. But yeah, I think we worked a really nice partnership. I think at the beginning of the year, obviously, I think she was a bit frustrated actually because she was never getting me assists. So I think towards the end, she was trying really hard to get assists, and I think you could see when she got me one against Reading, you could see how happy we both were.
Yeah, and last season's achievements were probably even more remarkable given that you came back from that career-threatening condition, pericarditis, the inflammation of the heart. So what motivates you to pull through those tough times?
I mean, at the time, I probably wouldn't say there's much that motivates me. I think, you know, I do struggle quite a lot when them things happen. And like you said, I've had to deal with quite a lot of injuries. Obviously, the illness was a new one. It just gets to a stage where I want to prove to myself that I can come back and that I can come back better. I just want to make sure that for myself, I've given it everything and it's something that I can be proud of when I'm able to get back on.
How instrumental has Emma Hayes been in your career and why?
Yeah, she's been massive. Obviously, I've been at the club for 6 years now, so we've been able to kind of grow that relationship and build that trust with one another and the honesty as well. I think we built a lot of of that relationship while I was ill. You know, she never kind of went a few days without seeing how I was, and that means a lot, you know, as a player, when you've got a manager who's desperate for me to get back. You feel valued, you feel, you know, that people want you to be around the team.
And last weekend you had your opening match of the season. How will you respond against Everton?
We weren't happy. We don't like to lose. We want to win every game, but you know, it's a long season. We didn't win our first game of the season last year, so you know, we know that we have to come back fighting, and I think this is what this team is about. It's about character and resilience, and I think we've showed that over the last few years. Yeah, so we're excited to go against Everton. It'd be nice to be at home, to play in front of our home crowds again.
You've won so much in your career, 4 WSL titles at Chelsea. What do you still want to achieve?
The FA Cup is one that we've got our eyes on, and win as many as we can, and obviously hopefully we can go one better in the Champions League. We're extremely proud to get to that final. Unfortunately, of course, on the day it didn't particularly go our way, but yeah, we learned from it, we've built from it, and we know now what level we have to get to in order to win them trophies and maintain the performances through the season.
She is such a fantastic player, Micah, and I suppose with the increased coverage now and people looking at those star names, she is that for young girls and young boys following WSL. They know about Fran Kirby.
She's wonderful. She's really technical. I like the way she finds spaces, and she scores goals as well. She just said there, 16 she got last season. And she needs to keep them levels up and show everyone how good of a player she is.
Yeah. When you look at the Chelsea result last week, Fara, yeah, Sam Kerr and Fran Kirby both on the bench. Do you expect them to be starting tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Emma Hayes will look back at that Arsenal game. I think, you know, in terms of performance and the result, isn't something that she would have planned for. So, yeah, they most definitely need 3 points tomorrow against Everton. And I'm sure with the squad that they have and the players they have, and bringing those 2 players there you mentioned back in, they've every chance of getting the 3 points.
The Chelsea-Everton, it's going to be live tomorrow. We're both going to be there. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously Chelsea, strong, lost their opening game. Everton, a lot of new recruits and also lost. So both need that win tomorrow.
Yeah, they both do. I think, you know, Emma Hayes will demand that win. You know, she will demand that her team go out there and get the 3 points. I think for Willie Kirk and Everton, I think the money they've invested this year, I think the club will demand it. I think the fans will demand it. I think, you know, they've spent the most amount of money in the WSL this year, and, you know, and I've heard him come out in interviews saying that they're going for the title. So if they are to go for the title, tomorrow's a game that they need to, is a must-win for them.
And just a quick one on England as well, because Serena Wiegman, it's her first announcement of her England squad. What have you made of that?
It's a fantastic appointment. I'm really excited to see where she can take this very talented England team. I'm just gutted I've retired and weren't able to play underneath her. She is fantastic. and what she did with the Dutch team, you know, winning the Euros back in 2017, yeah, she's a very good coach, and you can see from her selection of 25 players that she's given everybody a chance to, you know, to come away and we'll take a real closer look.
OK, and Fara, no, you're not getting your boots on. You've got a news chair now. You're sitting there.
Different sort of boots.
Yeah, different sort of boots. Well, this week we are all geared up for the return of this.